Hi, I'm Sandi Genovese and welcome to this episode of the Ellison Education video series. We're talking today about place value. So if you look here, you can see that I've got a chart that represents counting where you're starting with the number 1 and placing individual paper tiles up until you get to 10 and then creating rows all the way until you would get to 100. It's really helpful when you're teaching place value to have these paper manipulatives. We have it all on one die. This is the base 10 die, and you can see that there's a representation of 100, of a 10, and of 10 ones. So if I use this in the Big Shot Pro, all I have to do is take the colors of paper that I'm going to be cutting and place it so that the blade is sitting up on the die and my paper is on top, and then I just place the cutting pad over the top and roll it through. And all of those ones, let's see if I can bring this over and not get them all over so that I can actually use them here. But it very easily cuts what would be a 10. You can see a 1 there. Here, this would be 100. And then, of course, you have lots of these little ones. Now, if you want all the ones to be one color and all the 10s to be one color, it's helpful to have them grouped on a die. I'll bring this up and show you. We do have the dies that do that. So here are 10 of the 10s, and that's 48 of the ones on one die. But it allows you to be able to cut lots so that every student can have these paper manipulatives. Now, when they're learning how the place value, it's so helpful for them to have a stack of these and for you to have them take these and create 10 of the ones together so that they can then see that 10 of my green tiles, which represent the ones, are going to be the equivalent of 1 of the blue tiles, which is a 10. And if I take 10 of the blue tiles and I place them together, they'll find out that 10 of those will equal 100. The thing that really is helpful, if you're working with kids that are very young and the size of this manipulative is a little bit difficult, you can use a different die. Here is a die that is 12 squares and the squares are 1 inch. So if you use this to cut all of the ones, it's not difficult in this bigger size to use the paper trimmer to cut your 10s and to cut your 100s. And what that results in is something that looks like this. Here are the ones, the 1 inch squares. Here are what would be 10 of those, so those are the 10s, and this is the 100s. So if you use these then for the really young hands to be able to work with placing down 10 of the ones and seeing when it transfers, the 10 ones become 110. For instance, you could have them take with their paper, you could ask them to represent visually the number 132. So here would be 100, and here 3 of these would be 10, 20, 30. And of course, they're going to learn to count by 10s in the process, and here would be 2. So this would be a representation visually of 132. Once you've practiced like this with paper, I think it's handy to look at coins because they really translate really wonderfully with the paper. Because 10 pennies equal a dime, 10 dimes equal a dollar. If you go to the bank and you get 100 pennies and you ask a child how easy it's going to be to carry around 100 pennies in their pocket versus carrying 10 dimes, or even 100 pennies versus carrying $1 bill, it really does help them to understand place value and going from 1s to 10s to 100s. It also, once you've got money, it's very simple to add in the task of having them count by 2s, using nickels to have them count by 5s, have them count by 10s. All of this is a really great way for them to truly understand place value. Whether you're counting by 2s, 5s, 10s, even 100s, the base 10 dies will make quick work of it.